Hey everybody, Bruce here with some tips and tricks for problem set number 12. There are 4 problems, each one worth 25 points. So the good news is we're going to go to problem number 4 first. And what problem number 4 wants you to do is print out this pattern here, but using nested for loops. Not while loops, nested for loops. Okay, so it's kind of a challenge, and what I'm going to do is go through it. So check it out. So here's the code I gave you, and again, let's just take this pattern right here, right? Let me just take this right here out of this markdown document, copy. I'm just going to put it here, and oh, don't forget to change your name. And I believe, do these problems want you to do an IPO? Nope, no IPO here. All right. So I'm just going to go over here. I'm going to do some comments. I'm going to paste in that pattern, right? So pretend, right? Pretend you just used a simple for loop for I in range, right, of, I don't know, let's do this. For I in range of 7, step down to negative, let's see, start at, let me see, start at 7, go down to -1, and step down each time by -1, right? So if I print out, just so you can see this here, if I print out, say I times an asterisk, right, what do I get? What do I get when I do this, okay? Oh, whoa, look at that. That's kind of almost like the answer, isn't it? Look at that. Right here, you see this right here? It kind of did it, right? We have an extra print there, an extra line feed, but that's okay. That's coming from this thing right here, the last one. So this kind of does it, right? We're done, right? No, because I wanted you to use nested for loops. Nested for loops to accomplish this same type of thing here. So this is all well and good if I said just use a for loop to do this, right? But that's not what I want you to do. I want you to use nested loops, nested for loops. So let me just do this again. For I in range, I'm going to go from 7 down to -1 and step down -1 each time. And then I need another loop, right? So I can't use the same iterator. I'm going to call it J for now. And I need to do something inside of this inner loop. And inside this inner loop, and again, I have to do something here. We're going to need to print out, right, those asterisks somehow using this concept of nested loops. So going along with what I did before, where I had 7, right, because there's 7 asterisks here, right? What if, right, what if I use this number I that I'm getting each time I iterate, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, right? Actually, I could do 0 here, right? That works because we're going to go to but not include 0, and 0, yeah, we're not going to use 0, okay? So, well, we may, but check this out. What if now, and I just do this, I print out the asterisk, just right there, but I need something for this inner loop, right? And I need something that's going to, the print, I'm going to make it so it doesn't hit a line feed, right? A carriage return after each asterisk. So for now, I'm just going to put 7 in there, just like that. I'm hard coding 7. And I want to show you what happens. Ready? So you see what happens here? We get all these asterisks in a row, right? It's not what we want. But what if I put a print right here, right? So that after it's done printing out those 7 asterisks, it then prints out a blank line. Ready? So, okay. So I got 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. But that's kind of not what we wanted. But believe it or not, it's almost. So we're printing out repeatedly 7 times here, right? 7 asterisks. So if I change this 7 to the value I that's being iterated here, which starts at 7 and then goes 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, if I make that I like that and then I run it, did I not just do and solve the problem there? Did I not just do that? Look at that. This is really, really not an easy problem, right? So again, for I in range, 7, go to 0, but don't include it, and step down by 1 each iteration of the outer loop. The inner loop is going to iterate from j to the outer number, and then print out that asterisk character and not do the normal, line feed at the end of the line. But it's only going to print a line feed after it prints out that row of asterisks, right? So that's problem number 4. Problem number 1, sum of numbers, sum of numbers. Develop a Python program using a while loop that asks a person to enter a series of positive numbers. The user should enter a negative number to signal the end of the series, right? It's what we call the sentinel. After all the positive numbers have been entered, your program should display their sum. So sum of numbers, I gave you some code here, right? So did I specify to use a list here? Well, I'm going to use a list, right? At least you should too, right? So I'm going to get rid of this starter code, right? So could I create a list? I'll just call it the list, and I'll make it an empty list. Oh, I shouldn't be writing code here. So you do that, and then you ask the user to enter a number, right? Greater than or equal to 0, right? A positive number. And then inside of the loop, right, you need to append that number entered to, right, the list, right? And then you need to ask them for another number, right? And if that number is greater than or equal to 0, the while loop will keep executing. If they enter a negative number here, we'll be done. So you have a list of numbers. You can then use the sum function, right, to add up all of the numbers, right? There you go. That's my hint for that problem. Problem number 2. Tuition is going up. No kidding. At El Gorte College, the tuition for a full-time student is $7,250 per academic year. Holy moly. It has been announced by President El Gorte. What was I thinking when I wrote these problems? I'm sorry. It's been announced by President El Gorte that tuition will be going up 3% every year for the next 10 years. Write a program with a loop, specify what kind of loop, that displays the projected semester tuition amount for the next 10 years, right? So if I get rid of the starter code and what did they say their initial tuition was? $7,250. So, tuition is 7,250. So we have that variable. If we want to create a variable called tuition, and we, I don't know, just keep it as tuition, right? Because it's going to cost $7,250, right? The first year, and then it's going to go up, right? So create a loop that iterates 10 times. A definite loop, right? A definite loop here, a for loop, right? And then inside the loop, you want to take the current tuition and calculate the increase, right? What's the increase? What was the increase each year? 3%, right? So we need to perform a calculation That's going to increase, calculate the increase by 3%, right? And then we're going to need to accumulate, right? Accumulate the new tuition, right? Because tuition is going up, it's incrementing each year. And by the way, out here, whoops, out here, right? Out here, right? You want to create an accumulator variable, right? And believe it or not, that would be set to $7,250 the first year, right? So again, tuition is $7,250. I'm just going to get rid of this line. So if you create an accumulator variable, maybe you just call it tuition, and you set it equal to $7,250, then you're going to take $7,250, multiply it times 1.03, right? Which is going to give you the new tuition, right? And you accumulate that year over year, right? And then what else do I want? What else do I want? I'm a little hungry right now, so I may be just, I think I said that right, all right? And then it wants you to display the projected tuition amount for the next 10 years. So in that loop, right, we need to display or print, right? Print out the year, right? Print out the year and the tuition amount, okay? So believe it or not, when you print out the year, you want to say 1, and then, I don't know, 1 is $7,250, right? Year 2 is, I don't know, $7,250 times 1.03 equals 7467, right? So again, notice that the number here is 1, not 0. So you can add 1 to the loop iterator and to get these correct values, if you know what I mean, right? So that's problem number 2. And the last problem, number 3. And I hope I'm not confusing you more. Problem number 3 is just like problem number 2. All right, it's instead of tuition, it's the ocean is rising, right? So, and this wants you to do 25 years, okay? And I want you to use F strings to display the output. I want you to use F strings to display the output, right? So go back into module 5, watch the F strings video on how to, how F strings are your friends, okay? So that's it. I hope this short video helped for problem set number 12. Ask questions in the questions channel in Slack, and thanks for watching.